This is an APsprayarts dice painting. Let's roll some dice and spray some paint. What is a dice painting? We roll first, we spray second. I said that already. To the gauntlet of paint cans, where the dice pick your fate. 1. Poster board. What will the main subject be of our poster board painting? 5. Waterfall Oasis. And what shall the main color be? 2. Purple. What's your favorite painting? What should this also include? 3. Trees. So far, this is sounding like a pretty damn good painting. Hey guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell, all that fun stuff. Share it with your friends. This one turned out to be a really great painting. It looks really weird when it starts out, like right there. It's a big black blob, but it'll make sense later. That's basically where the water is going to go later on. I did have an idea for this painting before I got going. Luckily, I got a good roll, so I was able to use this idea that I already had, which was a bunch of colors around waterfall. So here I'm doing a bunch of colors, and I'm also going to do a bunch of different techniques of trying to do the greenery and stuff. The only thing I regret from this painting is that around the outside I should have done a solid dark color for the under part, so that when I come in with trying to do leaves and stuff later on, it kind of pops out a little bit. But this painting still did turn out really well, so I'm not really worried about it. As I've mentioned before in dice paintings, and I'll mention this one because I'm not sure which order I'm even going to play these things, I am not posting them in the order of which I did them. I did that on TikTok if you want to go see the correct order of how I did the dice paintings and how I got weird and started singing in some cases. Go over there on TikTok and you can watch how they're all done. Carving in trees, like most of my forest scenes, all kinds of different trees getting carved into the paint. And like I've said in other dice paintings, sometimes the rolls are good and you get to make something, sometimes they're not. There's one dice painting, it's the mannequin. I don't know whether I've already posted it or whether I will. I rolled the dice for it, but I was not getting the rolls I was hoping for, so I kind of changed it, and it doesn't even appear as a dice painting on YouTube. It does on TikTok, and I did get some comments on that one about how I kind of cheated for the roll. But as far as I know right now, I'm the only one doing dice painting, so I'm allowed to make up my own rules. Plus, it's spray paint art. It's supposed to be a little bit out there and a little bit crazy, and I can do my own thing if I want to. Like using a hairdryer to dry my paint instead of fire. Some people use fire, which is basically just taking a lighter, lighting it up, taking your clear coat, spraying it so that it hits the flame, and the chemicals inside the paint go to light. You'll probably see it in some other videos of mine somewhere. And then the heat from the fire will dry the paint so that it becomes easier to manipulate. For instance, if the black was still wet, I would not be able to do the waterfalls like I'm doing. And before I get back to the fire stuff, this looks really weird when it comes out. You have to trust the process. It will make sense. So back to fire. Some people use fire, and it is great for drying it out fast. It is good when you're doing live shows because people see the fire and it's like, ooh. But if you don't practice with it, like you have to practice with everything else, you can mess up a little bit. Canada Day 2023, I was painting live in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Unfortunately, the weather kept changing on us. So I tried doing fire. I sprayed out. The spray had gone back because the wind was coming towards me, and the spray had gotten onto my glove. So then my glove caught on fire, and I had to quickly try and get that glove off before it burned onto my hand. Needless to say, I haven't really done fire since then. Does the waterfall make sense? No, it has different layers. I'm going to pick up myself with this in every video I do it on. I'm holding that paper on the wrong side. I should be holding it underneath because you don't want a flat upper splash. The splash is going to hit the water at the bottom and then splash up with the foam. So I should be holding it underneath the waterfall, not over top. Anywho, I've used a little bit of blue in with the white to make the water actually have some color and not just be straight white. And it's hard to see with the light. That's a little better. But at the top, there's a big rock making the waterfall go in a different direction. So that way it has a little bit more reality to it. So here I'm putting a little bit more white onto the top of the waterfall just so that it's not just jagged and going off. And then I rub it in with my finger to smudge it up a little bit. Because when the waterfall goes over the rocks, it does not just cut off at an edge. It kind of rolls over it and goes down. For those that paint, the reason the waterfall kind of pops a little bit is because it has that black underneath. If I was just putting waterfall on the white poster board, it would not pop at all. It would just kind of be white on white, so whoop-de-doo. But you have the black underneath, so then you can see it coming through the white, so it looks like it's actual water falling. And here I go putting in some white marks a little bit so that you can see that it's actually flowing around things. And there I go using that paper on the wrong side. So I think I took a break there and now I'm getting back to it, and this is putting in the actual leaves into the painting. So you have the colors in the background, which are obviously background lightings, and then the trees carved into them, and then this is the leaves coming in, little yellow, orange, red there. But as you can see, because the color in the back is the exact same as what I'm doing with leaves in, it doesn't really give you that contrasting blend. Whereas if I had used a darker color for, say I used a dark green for the background, then that would give you a little contrast. You'd have the bright orange, yellow, red in the front with a dark green in the background. Now that I've said that, I want to go paint this painting again. And then where there's purple and green background leaves, I could probably have done perhaps the orange and yellow in that area. And then that way you would see those colors in the back as well, kind of breaking through where your sponge goes. I can't quite tell what I'm using in all of these because my hands are in the way, but for some of them I was using actual sponge. For some I was using a brush made out of napkins. Bounty napkins are the best, by the way, because they're nice and thick. And some I think I used other tools, possibly even brushes. I'm not really sure. This painting I also liked because I used a big variety of color. It wasn't just green on green or yellow and green. Using different kind of purples and pinks and oranges and yellows. This is a waterfall that I wouldn't mind being around. And this, by the way, was not inspired by another painting. It was inspired by an actual waterfall with different colors of different trees and things. So at least I'm pretty sure it was a real waterfall. It seems kind of outrageous with all the colors, but I haven't been everywhere. So as you see, I'm putting in the different colors, purples and everything. And the purple is a little lighter, so it is coming out a bit, unlike what the orange and yellows were doing. By the way, that one I was doing right there, I did not like the tool I was using. So I wasn't a big fan of the way those leaves came out. These ones down here I liked better, so yeah. Sometimes you're going to like what you do, sometimes you're not. It's all a question of what the other people are seeing. And even this one, it's a different kind of purple, so I can see for that green down there, I'm using a sponge, and instead of holding it curved, I'm holding it more upward, so it's kind of like plants going straight up. And then this green here, I'm using a napkin brush. If you go on my TikTok, you can see how to make the napkin brush. There, you have to find the video. I can also probably release that same video here on YouTube if you ask me nicely. And make sure when you're doing leaves and things that you are using different colors. Don't do straight one color, because then it doesn't come out looking like real bushes. It just kind of looks flat. If you look at that green up at the top, where you have the yellow, light green, and dark green, it's all kind of different, and it makes good contrast. And in the real picture, there are trees sticking out of those waterfalls, so I'm drawing in some trees down in the front. Basically an homage to the actual painting or drawing or picture that I have. And doing a different kind of green for those as well, so that they look a little bit different. So just coming in, I'm putting a little bit of green in with the colors just so it looks a little more realistic, and then darkening up the edges. And I'll put a clear coat on it. Coming to the end of this video, let me know what you think. Please comment and like, and let me know if you like this one. Let me know if you want to see more dice paintings. Here's the final product. Do something good for yourself.